Hi, everyone. This is Jim Kaufman. I'm with Square 2 Marketing. I want to thank everyone for joining us today for a great program we have here, how to create a scalable inbound sales program. And if you saw the subheading, turning your website into a cash machine. I'm sure that's why all of you are here. Again, I am the inbound sales director at Square 2 Marketing. And I'm going to talk today about sales process, and I'm joined by Hugh Willoughby. Hugh is the HubSpot Sales Solution Director. Hugh, you want to say hello?
Yeah, hey everyone, thank you so much for the introduction, Jim, much appreciated. This is Hugh from HubSpot, and I just want to thank everyone for spending some time with us this afternoon. I'm very excited to, one, learn from Jim about sales process, and then two, discuss with the audience how my team uses our software to execute upon our sales process. So very excited to get started, and again, thank you all for the time today.
Great, Hugh, thank you. So you'll hear from Hugh shortly. Okay. So let's get started. All right, so before we get started, always some ground rules to get going here. So first off, everyone is muted upon entry, so feel free to talk amongst yourself. If you have any questions during the program, please feel free to use the chat feature. We won't be answering questions during the program, but we will have enough time at the end to answer all of your questions. So feel free to ask your questions during the program. If you're interested in receiving a recording of this webinar, we'd be happy to send it to you. Just send us an email when you're done, and we'll send out a recording. If you're having any trouble at all with hearing anything with this program, just shoot an email over to Lauren, and I'll leave her email up there for a few seconds. Take a look at it if you want to jot it down, just in case if you have any problems there. Okay. So let's get started with today's agenda and why you're all here. So again, Square 2 Marketing, give you a quick background. We are an inbound marketing agency, and what we do is we help companies drive leads, a lot of leads, through the internet to your website to create more opportunities. So my role in the company as inbound sales director is I'm helping you take those leads now you're getting is how do I close them? So helping you create questions for closing them, creating a sales process, using everything you can, all the tools available to close the business. So really what we're going to talk about today is understanding why the old model isn't working anymore. We're also going to talk about our process, which is the 5 Ds of inbound sales and the importance of creating the sales process. Okay. We're going to talk today about how HubSpot CRM can help. They've got a great tool, but it'll be more of just how their tool, just more about also how CRMs in general can help you with your process. And the goal really today is to tie it all together, your sales process and the CRM, one tool to use. There's a tool called Sidekick, and because CRMs are great, but you want some insight into CRM, insight about the prospect and the company that you're calling on. And I'm also going to talk about strategies for staying in sync with today's buyer behavior. So let's dive in. All of you are thinking right now, I need a better approach to closing deals. What do I do? So what is your approach now? Okay, do you have one? Okay, everyone's always looking at their sales process. What do I do? Everybody's looking at the last stage, the proposal stage, okay? What do I do at the closing stages? But typically what we find is when I coach companies and salespeople and owners and VPs is that problem is not always in your close, okay? But what are you doing in the first 2 steps? What are you doing in the first stage of the process or the second stage of the process? So I need a better approach to closing. I need a better approach to closing deals and looking at the entire sales process. What did you do the first few steps? Okay? At the end of today, we're going to show you this slide again. This is our sales process tied into the CRM. A lot of stages on here, but you're going to see how this is one document, one process that all works together. It has the CRM stages, it has emails that you send out, it has content that you send out. So the goal of today is to educate all of you, okay, into creating your own sales process and how to utilize your CRM, okay, that works for you, and that then it's scalable and repeatable for any type of prospect that you work with. So don't worry about this. You're going to see this at the end. I want to share it with you up front to show you what we're looking to do with today's program. So now you're all asking yourself, why would a documented sales process help me close more deals? So what do you have to look first is, what are you doing now? Okay, you see the little diagram over here. Okay, you start here, and the end of the diagram is that pot of gold. That's the money, that's the sale, that's the revenue. What's the best way to get there? Well, it would be a straight line. How long is it taking you to get there? How many left turns are you making to get there? How many of these roundabout way, the steps that you're using, are you using too many steps? So first you have to look at is, what am I doing now? So first thing you look at is that most companies we work with, okay, start off is that they have the wrong process in place. So if it's not working for you, the wrong process might be, I have 2 steps in my sales process and I can't close business. Well, maybe you need 3 or 4 steps. Or I have a lot of companies I've worked with in the past and they have 6 steps in the process. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of steps. So we talk about maybe 3 or 4 should do it for you. Why do you have so many steps? So you have the wrong process for what you're selling. Then there's a process of what you're doing now, it's winging it. That's basically, you just do it and it comes natural, it's in your head. Everybody's different, or you have no process at all. Okay? So there, it's important to document a process. If you wing, document what's in your head. Okay? If you have no process in place, then it's really important to create a process. Make it simple to start, okay? Don't make it too complex. The third thing you do is that you're following what we call the buyer's process. And what's the buyer's process? Typically what that is, buyers said they contact you and they say to you, hey, can you give me a proposal at the first call? Can you give me your pricing? And as salespeople, what do we say? Sure, no problem. Would love to give you our pricing. And you send a proposal out, and sales manager says to you, hey, how's it going? Any deals out there? I have 5 proposals out there. But the buyer, that's their process. That's not your process. So the goal is you want to create your process that works for you. So let's dive into the 5 Ds, the process. First D is we call it discovery. Second D, we call it diagnostic. Our third D is design. Then we have delivery, and then we have display. So this is our process. Giving you an example. This doesn't need to be your process, but this is really hopefully a foundation. If you have nothing in place right now, okay, or you have something that's not working for you, build the foundation, okay? Create these simple steps. If you want, use what we have. A lot of our clients have nothing, they just take ours that we do and they call it something different, okay? I'm going to dive into each one right now. So let's start off with discovery. Discovery means is that I have a lead. Now what do I do? Now, being an inbound marketing agency, we're not making out. Not doing any of that. We help companies drive leads to the internet through great content, great information. So look at your company and say, what am I doing to drive more leads? Okay, sales has changed. If you haven't figured it out, it has changed tremendously. The internet, social media, everything has changed. So prospects want information. So we help create great content and information. So if not our clients, it's any company we talk to, the goal is to create information so by the time the prospect calls you, typically 50% of the opportunity, could be done, meaning that they know about your company and they know what you do. So, but you still need a process. You still need steps along the way. So what's the goal of the discovery call? The goal of the discovery call is to qualify the prospect out, okay? Now, don't take it so literal, but how many calls you have that didn't close, you did 3 or 4 steps, and they probably weren't right in the beginning. So our discovery call typically takes about 30 minutes, and we have documented 4 or 5 questions to ask, okay? And we're trying to find out, does the prospect have pain? Are you talking to power? Are you talking to the right person? That's really important, okay? Who's using your software? Who's going to be using your marketing? Just somebody who has some authority in that conversation, okay? And then, based on the questions that you ask, remember, you want to create the right question at this is a very early stage. Remember, they also know a lot about you, okay? Does your solution fit, okay? So, remember, after this call, it's not also about, okay, there's no fit, click, hang up, okay? I was on a call, I get calls all the time from people trying to sell me things, and if I get a few minutes, I'll listen to them. But if there's no fit, I tell them there's no fit, what's the next thing I hear? Click. Well, that doesn't make sense. So you spend money on that opportunity. So what you should do is that, you know what? I tell them we're not the right fit. We have a criteria of prospects that we meet through the system. If we're not the right fit, what I do is, we do here at Square 2 is we give them some suggestions. We might send them a great piece of content to read. Anything that can help them out. It's not just, sorry, we can't help you, goodbye. We want to help them out. We want to help them, with their opportunity, okay? We're here to educate, okay? And maybe a year from now, they call you back. Okay, hey, we're big enough now. Now we have more revenues, income to spend. Hey, I know you helped us, we talked a year ago, but maybe give us some more ideas now. So it's never just click goodbye, it's let me give you some suggestions. Okay, you're helping them out. So that's a great thing to do. Okay, so that's the first discovery call, okay, and so that's the first D of the process. The next D of the process is the diagnostic call. The diagnostic call is, so they appear to be qualified. They have some pain. You discover that in the discovery call. Your solution, what you're selling. We're an inbound marketing agency, so we've asked them the question before. We feel they're a good fit. For example, if you're selling software, okay, does your software really help? Can it really help them? Do they have pain around it? So the diagnostic call is, I'm qualified now. What do I do? This is kind of like you research the doctor. Now you're ready to go to the doctor, and you want to find the right doctor. What does the doctor do? The doctor asks you a lot of questions. This is where you're going to ask them a lot of questions. Our diagnostic call typically lasts about 90 minutes. Very thorough. We're going to ask them a lot of questions. Not just any questions, the right questions. We're going to ask them pain-related questions. Is their pain acute? Is there real pain? Is there driving pain about them? Okay? Clients we work with, they have questions, but they're not deep enough. Example, as a marketing agency, they'll say, yes, our marketing is not working. We'll ask them more questions. So tell us more about that. Okay? What have you done to try to fix it before? Okay? What's not working about it? How long has it been a problem? Questions like that dive deeper into the pain to see how much is the pain real. Next one is, are you talking to all the power? Not just before in discovery, one person. Now we're getting everybody involved in this conversation who has decision authority, who will be using your product. If you're selling a software tool, anybody who's using that software tool should be on, because you'll be asking a lot of questions. Also, at the end of this call here is your solution now really the best fit? You've asked a lot of questions, you found the pain, talking to the right people. Is it the best fit? You're doing yourself a disservice if you're saying, well, I can find a way to stick that round peg in the square hole. So really have to be true to yourself and say, is it a right fit? And tell them, I don't think we're the right fit. They'll appreciate that. And again, If you don't move forward, send some content, send some information, suggest some things they can do, okay, to help their pain, so maybe down the road they are a fit. Discuss what are their expectations moving forward. What do they really want to accomplish going forward? For a client like ours as a marketing agency, example, they might say, well, I've used marketing companies in the past and they haven't worked out. I've used 2 or 3. The next question I'm going to ask is, so tell me what you expect out of this company. What were your expectations? Why didn't it work out? Then I'm going to ask them, what are you hoping to accomplish by hiring Square 2 Marketing? If you're selling, if you're a financial service company and they've gone to different financial planners and it hasn't worked out, same thing. What are their expectations? And they're also giving you planning documents, things like that. So why companies offer these things? So what's the big picture? What do they want to accomplish? At the end of the first year, we'll say, of the engagement is, what do you expect to happen? It's really important so you're all on the same page. You have these questions, put them into categories, organize them. Okay? So from marketing agency that does sales enablement, we have sales questions, we have website questions, we have strategy questions, we have financial, we have a lot of questions that we ask. And we tell them, we're going to ask you a lot of questions. Look at your questions that you have. Are they categorized? Okay? If you're a financial services company, I'm sure you have a lot of questions, not about what kind of financial planning they're doing right now, but also about big picture strategy. If you're a healthcare company, and okay, organize those. And then you want to document the questions and the answers. This is really important for a few reasons. One is that if you talk to somebody at the first meeting and they gave you one answer and somebody else gave you a different answer, totally different, you can go back and say, you know what, Joe gave me this answer and Phil gave me that answer, totally contradict themselves. I'm really confused. I got to clarify before I move on. And it's written down. Or later on in the call, they forget what they said. You can go back and read your notes. So document your questions and your answers. We have a list in front of us, and we're just going down the list, reading everything. So after you have this done, okay, then you're ready for what we call the design stage. Okay, the design stage for us is our recommendations, our proposal, our here's how we're going to help. So I have all the answers. What do I do with this information? So you're going to co-create a solution with your prospect. What does co-create mean? Together. We're working on it together. Okay? That's Square 2 Marketing here. We call sales guides. We don't have sales reps. Sales guides is we guide them through the process. From the beginning, we're guiding them through. We're educating them, we're asking questions, and we're guiding them through our recommendations, okay, that we worked on together. So they feel like, hey, this makes sense for us. We want to make them feel safe. Making them feel safe is really important. Okay? Feel like they're not being shoved down some recommendation or thing that won't work. So feel like, yes, I feel really good about my decision going forward. Okay? I'm not going to second guess myself. Set, again, all their expectations at this meeting when you're done. Answer all of their questions, okay? Don't just say, I'll answer that later on because you don't want to answer the bad question and kind of forget about it. Answer everything. Be truthful. Be upfront. It's going to come out at the end, so might as well answer it all now. Okay? And discuss next steps. What are the next steps in the process? What are they expecting moving forward? Okay? Understand what's going to happen next. For us, it's okay, they're signed up, they're ready to go. Now you're going to expect a call from our client services director. We're going to set a kickoff meeting, ready to go forward. So for most companies, they feel, I've closed the sale, I'm ready to go forward. The process doesn't end there. The fourth D is the delivery. Now they pick me, now what do I do? So we want to deliver our products and services. Over-communicate your expectations. Don't just assume. Okay, have the conversation. Circle back or check in after 30 days. Okay, give them a call. 30 days. Hey, how's it going? Tell me how everything's happening. What's going on? You created a relationship with them. Okay, so if you turn it over to another department, okay, check in with them, seeing what's happening. Great time to ask for referrals. Say, listen, here's how we grow our business. Are you happy? Anybody in your industry you know of? Opportunity to cross-sell. Great time to go in, maybe 30 days, 60, 90, or 6 months. For Square True Marketing, example is, we do sales pieces to help them close deals. At the time when they bought our inbound marketing program, they felt, well, you know what, I'm not ready for that sales process yet, or I don't think I need it yet. They want to wait 6 months or a year. Fine, no problem. We don't push it down the throat. We say, take your time when you're ready. But in 30 days, they say, you know what, realizing that we need this now. Let's move forward. So opportunities to cross-sell. So you're not just stopping everything you're doing, okay? You're delivering, but there's pieces there. So don't just say, hey, the sale is done, I'm ready to move on to hear from you. Then you 50 is you display. How do I keep them as a client forever? That's what you want. Now, some people might say, well, I have, after a one-on-one call close, or once I sell them, I move on. No, client forever mean, okay, maybe not paying you anymore, but they'll give you referrals. They can come back to use your services later on. So how do I keep them as a client for a long time? Display their happiness, okay? That's what you want. Display their happiness that they're using your company, especially with social media right now. So how do you do that is continue to market to them, okay? Send them blogs, send them white papers. Maybe an article that you found, okay, send them a personal email. Check in frequently. How's it going? Systematize this. Put in your calendar, every 4 months, call the company, just check in, see how it's going. Not trying to sell them anything, see what's going on. Ask for their feedback. Okay, how's it going? We're always trying to develop new products and new services. Stay in touch. Your clients are gold. Okay, you'd be foolish not to want to stay in touch with them. And you also want to quantify their satisfaction. What does that mean? We have a tool we use called Net Promoter Score. Our partners are calling our clients each month, asking them about their happiness on a scale of 1 to 5, okay? And we're quantifying it. Of course, we want all 5s, but if we get 1s, 2s, or 3s, so we know how to get better, okay? So put a number to it, okay? That means a lot. Okay? So these are the 5 Ds of the sales process. So these are our 5 Ds that we use, might not be yours. So hopefully you can take away a couple things in the process to move forward. So now I want to turn it over to Hugh. Okay? And Hugh is going to talk about the CRM and how to utilize this moving forward. All ready, Hugh?
Ready to go, Jim. Thank you so much.
All right.
So again, thanks, Jim, for the intro. I appreciate it. So the 5 Ds, right? Discovery, diagnostic, design, delivery, and display. These are truly really at the forefront of the modern day sales process. And here at HubSpot, we spent the last almost 8 years helping businesses modernize the marketing process to really be in line with how people conduct research today. So now, with the help of companies like Square True Marketing, HubSpot is really starting to help businesses modernize their sales process to be in line with how people buy today, right? This has significantly changed, and Jim touched upon this, right? A lot of the research around your business or your services is conducted before anyone even picks up the phone or reaches out to your business. So what we need to do is ensure that our sales process, as well as the tools we use, are in line with how people buy today. And a solid sales process, like the 5 Ds, right, needs a solid foundation. And for most businesses, really the technology keystone of that foundation is their CRM or their sales spreadsheet. We use the CRM or the sales spreadsheet to track activity, right, to report on our pipeline, to forecast revenue, to track how our reps are performing, and so on. But we're starting to see some issues now, right? As comes with age, the traditional CRM or the traditional sales spreadsheet is really starting to show its cracks. Opportunities are missed. Tracking is difficult. So let's talk a little bit about this CRM pain, and then we can discuss how we can help solve this. So CRM pain, right, really first and foremost starts with the setup. CRM software can be very difficult to set up. It can require in-house IT support. external consultants, and truly hours upon hours of work. As well, it can truly be a challenge to have full adoption across the sales team. And this has a lot to do with the difficulty of a CRM. It's a challenge to manually enter in all of your activity and all of your data. As well, it can be a huge time suck to be constantly bouncing between email and phone call and CRM to ensure that all of your activity is being logged. As well, right, a CRM contact record can be filled with tons and tons of really useful information, but needs to be presented in a digestible or an actionable manner to the salesperson, right? They need to understand the information in front of them. They need to react quickly to that information and use that to move through their sales process. And really, finally, some of this pain is really around the way that buyers have changed, right? Their behavior has changed. We now have hundreds of touch points across multiple channels, and we need to be tracking all of that to be sure that we're talking to the right people, that we're reacting at the right time, and that we're helping to move an opportunity forward. So on this next slide, let's talk about CRM solutions, right? First and foremost, a CRM should adapt to your sales process, not the other way around. You're bringing in a CRM to you, you want it to mold to your internal sales process and your sales team. For the sales team, we need to keep them focused on selling, right? Not learning a new piece of software. So it needs to be easy to understand. It needs to log their activity and their interactions automatically into the software. We need to log calls. We need to log emails, content views, and website activity automatically. And that way we keep the salespeople selling, not doing data entry. And while selling, we want the most pertinent information really right at our fingertips, right in front of our eyeballs. When we open up that CRM, we want to have all the data we need to move that deal forward. And modern day sales CRM software will help you do this. For me personally, right, as a sales rep, I have seconds to react to a question or to anticipate a response. And having just the info I need in front of me is imperative. I don't want to get confused with a bunch of extraneous data. I just want what I need around this contact and their behavior so I can understand how to move this deal forward. And finally, to have a meaningful conversation, we truly need to understand how that contact has interacted with our company across all channels. Have they visited our website? And if so, what pages? Have they read our content? And if so, how much time did they spend on our content? Are they opening our emails? Are they replying to our emails? We need to understand how people are interacting with our sales process to understand if we're spending the time with the right people. So this next slide, I'll talk to you kind of about how we do it here on my team. So we had a similar situation to a lot of folks out there. Our team at HubSpot just faced these very same problems when we launched our new products, right? HubSpot CRM and Sidekick. We truly are a startup within inside of HubSpot. We're almost completely autonomous at this point, and we needed to get a 5-person sales team up and running, and we need to do it in a matter of hours. So using CRM software in a matter of hours, we were really able to start selling. And we did this on this next slide here. We can show you how we took hundreds of thousands of existing contacts that are using our free Sidekick product, and we instantly imported them into our database, instantly associated them with the correct companies, and began tracking how they interacted with our product. And what you're looking at on the screen here is our actual screenshots of my CRM product here. So in the background there is our contacts database. And again, all of our contacts are automatically imported, and we can create custom views so we have the most pertinent information on these contacts in front of us. And then as well, all of the company information, again, is automatically created, and all contacts are automatically associated with the correct companies. So that way we can look at all of the players that are involved in a company, not just the 1 or 2 contacts we're talking to. This next slide will show you kind of how we interact with these contacts using software, right? Every email sent, every call made are now automatically logged inside of our CRM. We're now selling right without stopping. All interactions are tracked by the CRM software. And again, what you're looking at here are actual product shots. So in the background is my Gmail account. And anytime I email someone, I've got that little box checked that says Login CRM. So all of my email activity, again, automatically in the CRM, tied to the correct contact, so I can easily and quickly see when did we last talk, what did we last talk about. And in the forefront here, you see the calling features, and this is native inside of our CRM software. And what we can do here is place calls directly out of the system. And that way, the call is recorded, it's logged in the system, and then as well, the call activity is automatically timestamped and logged into the system. So whatever CRM software you're using, we need to ensure that all of this sales interaction, all this sales process behavior is being properly and automatically logged and then documented inside of the CRM. So this is engaging with a specific contact. Moving through on the next slide here, we can actually see what a contact record looks like after we have properly engaged with this contact. So CRM software enables us to easily customize the contact information we see and the views we use to improve how we sell. Using this information, we're now selling faster than ever before. So this is the contact. His name is Michael Clark. This is his record inside of a CRM. And you can see all the pertinent data, who he is, what company he works for, when we last contacted him, and at what point in the opportunity pipeline is this contact. And on the right side here, you see all of my interactions, my notes, my email interactions, and my phone calls. All of this information is in one place. I'm tracking this contact across social media, and all of this, again, happens automatically once we have set it up in the beginning. So moving through on the next slide here, we have set up our tracking of our interactions and prospects and customers. We need to then create deal stages that are truly aligned with our sales process. So as you can see here, I've aligned my CRM deal stages with the 5 Ds. And as we continue to work with prospects, we can easily move them from one stage to the next. And this is imperative, that we're always updating the CRM and that it's easy to do so that when we, again, reflect back on a deal, when we do a pipeline review or a forecast review, it's easy to understand at what stage is this opportunity. And this allows us to track all opportunities accurately, forecast our revenue for the month, the quarter, or even the year. Every salesperson needs to track every opportunity across the stages of the sales process to allow us to understand really why we close deals, and of course sometimes really why we do not. And this will help us iterate on our sales process. By tracking all opportunities and aligning the tracking with our sales process, we gain the ability to really discuss internally how we can move an opportunity forward, or as Jim suggested, sometimes we just need to walk away if it's a bad fit. And I want to share some of the best advice I've ever received as a salesperson. And this is the information that we use to actually help design an opportunity and really understand if it's a good fit. And it's really just around 3 questions. It's why would the prospect buy anything? We follow that up with why would the prospect buy from me? And then finally, really, why would the prospect buy now? Proper deal stages and reporting give us the information we need to really answer these questions quickly. I can see it all from just clicking into a deal, understanding who's going to buy from me, when they're going to buy from me, and why they're going to buy from me. And this helps to move through the process as we begin to deliver our services. So we've got this solid foundation on this next slide here. We've got this solid foundation, and the sales process is now set. So now what do we begin to do next? Well, we start selling, right? We're open for business. The doors are open. We've got our process built. We've got our CRM in place. Our salespeople are ready to go. So again, as Jim likes to say, well, what do we do next? One of the biggest challenges for a salesperson is really truly organizing your leads. What companies do we work with? What contacts do we talk to? We have to be able to arrange the companies in our database to understand who's in our addressable market. As well, we need to determine who are the key players at these organizations. Once we've climbed that hill, then we need to figure out how best to reach these leads. If we are successful in reaching and communicating with leads, when they have to, when they're on our website, when they're opening our emails, these interactions and these notifications let us know when is best to follow up with people. These can be really daunting tasks, and without the right resources and without the right technology, it can truly be impossible. So let's kind of talk about how we can solve some of this pain, right? So some selling solutions here. And really, with or without HubSpot, every business needs to be doing inbound marketing and inbound sales. Engaging with companies when they're researching your products or services creates qualified sales leads. There's really a reason why inbound leads close at a 70% higher rate. These are qualified leads that are researching your business when you're reaching out to them. So we've got to know when these people are on our website, when they're opening our emails, when they're reading our content. I've been selling for a little over 10 years now. I've been with HubSpot for about 3 years. And truly, I haven't cold called or cold emailed someone in 3 years. This is because of inbound marketing and inbound sales. Sales software can tell you when an inbound lead is on your website. Acting on this will increase sales. And when acting on these leads, we need to have consistent messaging from marketing to sales. By standardizing sales and marketing messaging, we ensure that our leads are really well informed and we understand that they are well qualified. We also need to measure how our contacts are interacting with our messaging. So when we send out an email, is it being opened? Is it being clicked on if there's a link inside of it? Is the messaging that we're sending effective? Are we moving the deal forward? And finally, right, we need to know when they're interacting with these messages. Selling today is about speed. I need to understand in real time when someone's opening up an email, when someone's clicking on a link, when they're on my website. All of these allow me to be a better salesperson. We can do this with all types of different software. What I want to talk to you about now is kind of how we do it here on my team. So our team at HubSpot executes on all of these using a product called Sidekick. We get notifications when an inbound lead is on our website. We know what pages that lead is looking at. We know when they open an email. We know when they click on a link, and we know when they view a presentation. All of this, again, all of this information really provides my sales team with timeliness, which is really key to successful selling today. We all have a ton of competition. The internet allows our prospects to view all of our competition without ever talking to us. So we need to be able to jump on an opportunity as soon as possible. If we don't jump on that opportunity as soon as possible, our closing percentages drop dramatically. So on this next slide, we'll talk kind of about how we use these products to improve our sales process. So our marketing team, right, they do an incredible job of creating, great content, using inbound marketing, driving traffic to our website, and helping us create qualified leads. But, it's our job as salespeople to continue to show that value throughout the sales process. The marketing team showed value driving traffic to our website. We as salespeople need to have consistent messaging to show that same value throughout the sales process. The messaging we send needs to be consistent, but we also need to create it fast. And something like email templates allow us to standardize our messaging, easily access it, and send it out. And what you're actually looking at here is our email template feature. Again, there's a number of products out there. You can do stuff like this inside of Outlook, inside of Gmail as well. And what we can do here is create templated emails in line with our marketing messaging. We can send these easily out, and then we can test and measure how many times an email has been sent, how many times it's been opened, what's the open rate, what's the click rate. All of this lets us know what messaging is working and what messaging isn't working. So on this next slide, right, we'll talk a little bit more about that measurement process, right? Because sending content messaging simply isn't enough. We've got to be sure that that messaging is effective. And again, using template reporting, using things like document reporting, how people interact with the PDFs and proposals you send out, these have allowed us to test, measure, and improve the emails we send and the content we deliver to our prospects. And we track this across the whole entire team. We've driven our open rates when we first began. They were probably floating around 30%. Now, by iterating on subject lines and the content inside of emails and the content we display to our prospects, we've driven our open rates to 60, 70, in some cases 80%. And our click rates, right, when someone clicks a link inside of one of our emails, we've driven that to well above 30%. This allows us to book much more qualified meetings and to do so in a much quicker manner. And remember, right, we're not salespeople. We're not marketers, right? We're salespeople. So we need to be in line with our marketing team to ensure that our message is consistent as the prospect moves from the marketing side over to the sales side. So finally here, let's talk kind of about the combination of both aspects here. The combination of a customized sales process and truly the right software tools will definitely empower your sales team to sell better and sell faster. So what Jim's going to do now is going to walk you through the combination of using the 5 Ds in conjunction with sales software to show you guys how to execute on an effective sales process.
Thanks, Hugh. All right, I mean, before I move on, great job. And I can't tell you how many companies I work with over time that they basically say about their CRM, yes, it's too hard to work with, or it's too complicated, or too many steps. I mean, listen, Salesforce is great, Membrane, App, there's a lot of great tools out there to use. And the mistake a lot of our clients make, and companies in general that I've talked to over the many years of sales development, sales training, and everything I've done for my over 20-plus year career is they buy a CRM first, or they let the CRM drive their company, and then create the process around it. And it should be the other way around. Create your process, and then go get a CRM, try a few out that work based on your process. What reports do you need? What interaction do you have? What tools do you need to have? I mean, everything's automated now. As a salesperson, all the tools are there for you to use. So I can't tell you, don't base the CRM around that. So HubSpot is one of many tools, but HubSpot created a tool to make it simple, to make it easy to use. Okay, and simplify it. So let's look at now at, you first heard about the 5 Ds, the process. Okay, I created a sales process. I've got a CRM. How does it work together? So let's go back to the slide that I showed you in the beginning. So what do you see here that now you just learned about? Let's look at the red boxes first. Okay, the 5 Ds. This is our sales process: discovery, diagnostic, design, delivery, display. That's in there. Okay, what else is here? Well, see these little blue boxes in the middle here in between? These are the steps leading up to each step of the process here. Okay, so what's happening before each stage and after? Okay. Then you have the green boxes here, which is, okay, are we qualified? Yes or no. Remember we talked about no's before. If they're no, okay, it doesn't mean click. All right, so then you have the tan boxes up here. This is the CRM. These are your steps in the CRM process, okay, of how you're going to implement. So before the discovery call, the CRM has a template in there to send information and content prior to the meeting. The next one here is in the CRM, it says it's a thank you email to send. Okay, it's in the CRM. Educational content. Sales rep sends even more content. At each step, what we're saying here is that this is where you utilize the CRM, which you talked about before, is to have each of these steps in the CRM system and how it all works together. The bullet points here under each stage here, this is really for a salesperson to look at what needs to be accomplished at each stage. So what the discovery stage is, here to educate the prospect, find pain, develop trust, explain the process, diagnostic. So these are just reminders for you, but they're good to have in front of you to look at, because if you get to the design stage and you go back and say, did I really find pain in diagnostic, or am I talking to the right people? So it's a good reminder to have on one document, on one piece of paper. So this is a great accountability tool to have. So the question I get asked all the time is, all right, Jim, you helped us create this great product here, this great one-page document. What do I do with it? Well, don't just put it away in a drawer in a folder. Keep it out. Print out a nice, pretty picture. Put it over your desk. Make it your screensaver. For me, I like having that piece of paper to keep looking at. But nice thing is that everything in here, it's all automated. Most things in here, it's HubSpot. It's all in there for a salesperson. It's a great tool to have to use. So the key is that if you have nothing right now, so it looks complicated to start, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate this. Okay? Make it easy to use. Why successful companies close more than 80% of inbound leads, and how you can too, is because they have a process, okay? And not just in their head. It's a documented process. It works for them. But more importantly is they're constantly updating the process. So make sure that after you've created this document here and what you're doing, okay, that you review your process. We look at ours every 3 months, okay? Every 6 months or so, we definitely look to make some changes. It's working well for us, but we always want to get better. You always want to improve on what you're doing. New products, new services, competition. You have to look at everything. Stay on top of your game. So for your sales VPs and managers out there, I'm sure you're constantly looking ahead saying, what else can we do different? Okay, so before I get to questions, I want to thank all of you for joining us. So a couple things just to kind of offer you along the way is, if you want to have learn about 5 ways you can close more deals with inbound sales, feel free to shoot me an email. There's my email address there. I'll be happy to spend a complimentary 30-minute session with you, just to basically give you some information, give you some ways you want to learn how to create a sales process, do it yourself. So I'll share with you what are 5 ways to do it and make it work for your business. You can't beat the price. It's free. It's more of my time. You want to learn more about Square 2 Marketing? You might not learn more about it, is receive our educational blogs. We're constantly sending out educational content. So subscribe to our Square 2 Marketing blog. You get a blog every day, and it's all educational content to help you. Okay? Our goal is that one day you need us, or HubSpot, then when you're ready to us, we'll contact you. As Hugh said earlier, doesn't make cold calls anymore. Guess what? We don't either. Everything is driven through inbound. We only talk to prospects when they contact us and say, I'm ready to talk to you. Still may not be the right fit, but they're ready. We also have a fantastic, the only inbound magazine out there. We'll give you a complimentary subscription to Inbound. So here's the website there. Go to www.2inbound.com, and you can subscribe to our website. Okay, so let's get to some questions. We have some questions coming in. What we have going on. Okay, so first question we have here from Peter. Peter is Sales VP. Question is, how often should I be reviewing my sales process? A few members of my sales team say it's fine, but they don't want to make any changes. These are the guys who have been around for a while I have new people here who feel the need updated. What should I do? Should I revise it? Well, great question, Peter. Thank you. My answer there is usually guys who've been around for a while, salespeople, is they don't want to make change. They're just kind of set in their ways on how they're doing things, and change means more work. So if you're the VP, you're in charge, you're the one that sees the future. So, I would definitely look to revise it if it's going to help the company. So you want feedback from your sales team, but also look at the reason why they're giving feedback. And in my case, over the years, that when I've gotten feedback like that from veteran people and companies that I've talked to, that I've coached for many years, that they don't want to make changes, they don't want a new sales system, they definitely don't want a new process. It's mainly because they're just set in their ways. And if it's working for them, fine, but if you think they could do a lot better, that's really important. So I would definitely make some changes and make them consistent. Tell them, hey, every 6 months we're going to revise our sales process, guys. So, moving forward. Next question here is from Mike. Mike's our sales manager. He asks, what if I have a long sales cycle? Typically it's 1 year. Do I need to add more steps in my process? So, great question, Mike. I get asked that a lot. So first off, ask you a couple questions. One is, why is it a year? Can it be shortened? Some companies, I understand, if it's a long software product that you're selling, it might take that long to sell, but you might want to look at it, can I shorten it? If it is a year, you're adding steps in that make sense. Kind of look at the cycle. This is your process. How long should it take to sell? Okay, so it's not about basically saying what steps can I add to make it the full year. Is there a way to shorten your cycle? Is it a year because your prospects are dragging it out? We have a couple clients we've had who sell software, and they do demos and trials. They give a 30-day trial. And those 30-day trials last for sometimes 60 or 90 days, and they let it go that long. That's why it takes so long. So they have a policy that they cut it off in 30 days. So great question. I have a question here, Hugh. Hugh, you're good to go?
I am here, Jim. Yep, absolutely.
Question from Michelle. I purchased Salesforce last year because everyone's using it, but we are having a hard time getting it going. How do I get my sales team to add all their activities and update it? What do I do?
Sure, it's a great question. It's actually a common one I hear on my team all the time when we're talking with people about HubSpot CRM. So really, first and foremost, your salespeople need to understand the value in logging their activity into the CRM. They need to understand that by logging their activity, they can easily reference that activity when they want to move a deal forward, when they are doing some pipeline review, and when they're trying to figure out, well, simply why aren't I closing enough deals? So really, first and foremost, it's about educating your sales team around the value of logging that activity inside the CRM. So once they understand the value, then you simply need to almost, put a process in place so that they are actually documenting their activity inside of the CRM. And then what we need to do is obviously track those interactions and track how much of an increase you have in their close rates when they are properly documenting their activity. And one of the best ways to do this is to kind of stack rank your sales team. And this is something that, we use here on a regular basis. Everyone knows where they sit on the sales team. And it's always, at least in our case, and I hope it is the same for you, Michelle, is that your reps who sit at the top of that sales leaderboard are typically the ones who are active sales process users and are actively logging their information inside of the CRM. Salespeople answer to the bottom line at the end of the day, so if you can show value not only in the process, but also in how they can earn more money, I guarantee you they'll start to log their activity in the CRM.
Okay. All right, great. I got a couple more questions here. This one here from Rod, should marketing qualify the lead before passing them along? So that's a great question. So this goes back to sales and marketing working together. There's still that line drawn in between sales and marketing not working together. So it's important that you work together. So should marketing qualify the leads? It really depends on your company, how you're doing things. More importantly, your sales team should be talking to marketing, communicating prior to this and saying, hey, here's the kind of leads that we're looking for. Or we sell a product, let's just say it's $25,000 software piece, okay? Here's the kind of company that we want. Here's the criteria that we're looking for our leads. Really having that upfront conversation, setting the expectations, we talked about expectations earlier, with your marketing department can only help the back end. So should they be qualifying? Really also depends on your marketing team. You need a little bit of be able to ask the right questions. So really, if you have some good people in marketing who can qualify, then I say, yeah, why not? If it could help save the time and you have the bandwidth to do it. But you don't want to have them do it because there might be an opportunity that they don't recognize for you. So I think it's important that the first step is ask questions first, set up expectation between marketing and sales. Also meet on a monthly basis. Hey, talk about your leads. What you don't want is salespeople saying, oh, marketing is not getting us good leads. Well, are you telling them what to expect and what to bring in? So great question, Rod. Thanks for asking that. Hopefully that helps you out. Last question here, Hugh. Charles, I'm a startup company, been around for 1 year. When should I start to use a CRM and all the technology that HubSpot has? Seems kind of tough to use for a new company like mine. How do I get it going?
It's a great question as well. To be frank, you're about a year behind. I would have started using a CRM on day one. Again, right, we need to have a process in place, and we need to have a piece of software to track and manage that process. So, yeah, I would have had it in place 12 months ago. More than happy to walk you through getting set up on HubSpot CRM. One of the huge advantages is, obviously, HubSpot CRM is free. So I would definitely go to our website, download the product, shoot me an email. We'll help you get set up, and you should be on your way and selling in no time.
I'm sorry, Hugh, what does HubSpot CRM cost?
It is 100% free.
Wow.
And can be downloaded now by anyone.
That's pretty cool. Okay. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Hopefully you found it very informative and educational. If you would like a recording of the CRM, of the program today, just shoot us an email and we'd be happy to send you a recording if you want to pass it along to your team. You have both of our contact information there. I'm Jim Kaufman. You got my number. If you want to give me a call, feel free to use me also for the offer that I gave you, 30-minute offer. And Hugh would also extend an offer to you if you want to shoot him an email, give him a call about the CRM or anything about HubSpot. He can give you some suggestions also and be very informative because, like I said, we're just here to educate you going forward. So maybe Hugh can educate you on CRM that what you're using now is not HubSpot, what might work for you with your current CRM or how HubSpot can help you. So feel free to give us a call, contact us. Have a great afternoon, everybody, wherever you're calling from, and enjoy the rest of your summer. Thank you.